run my foundation, try to help local fighters in Louisiana, you know, show them the ropes a little bit, teach them, try to put them on the right path.
Trained.
My next guest is the one and only Dustin Poirier. Great fighter, great man, and more important than a great fighter, he's a great man, and that's what his heart is bigger than anything, and that's what I love about him the most. And he's got a big fight coming up, third fight, a trilogy fight with Conor McGregor.
My man right here knows a couple things about trilogies.
Yeah, and you know, and he's gonna make it happen. He's ready, he's training hard, and but like. What did it all start? Like, did you start like as a kid wrestling, or did you start like when you started with the jiu-jitsu? You were older, obviously.
Yeah.
So it all just came like.
Yeah, I started wrestling when I was like 10 years old. I only wrestled for a couple years before I went to middle school, and then I completely stopped. And then when I was around 17 years old, I started really getting into boxing.
Right.
And that's about the time that the UFC did their first TV show, The Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah.
And that was like really blowing up and getting really popular. And I was at a boxing gym one day in Louisiana and met some guys who were training boxing for mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And then ever since then, I met up with those guys, and that took me down that path. I started doing MMA every day, yeah, and I just fell in love with it.
Yeah. So now that I mean, obviously you're up here now. I mean, but it took a grind for you. I mean, when you started out,
Of course.
obviously you had to work your way. And where'd you get that inspiration? Not inspiration, but where'd you get that like that grind to go do it every day? Because you know it's a long road. Boxing, MMA is just as hard, if not harder. That grind every day. Did you know in your heart you want to do this, or was it just something you were gonna try and see how far you can go, and then I'll?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I don't even know. Like I didn't. I just found something I really loved,
Right.
and I don't have a safety net. I don't come from money. I didn't have a plan B, and I just found something I loved, and I wanted to try to make a career out of it, and that was it.
That's what makes it more gratifying.
Yeah.
Like something like that, you know what I mean? Where you weren't handed this. You got to work for every damn thing you got.
Yeah.
I mean, every fight you were like, nah, we'll throw him in here with this person. See how? That's probably how you come up the ladder.
Right.
Throw him in with somebody. And see how he does, and you were like, I'm not gonna say a stepping stone by no means, but you were that tough guy that maybe they get through you, they're gonna be like whatever.
It was at that, even in boxing, at that level of fighting, it's sink or swim.
No, right,
You know?
right, yeah.
It's sink or swim, and that's how you cut your teeth and be the person you are.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who was like younger or not younger, but as you're coming up, who was your like inspirations, like in MMA or boxing
In MMA,
or whatever?
Muhammad Ali was a big
Yeah.
one. I mean, I know it's kind of cliche to say it because everybody's gonna say that, but
but it's true. It's true.
yeah, and just for the person he was too, you know, standing up for what he believed in and stuff.
Right.
That takes a lot of. That's bigger than fighting. It takes a lot.
100%.
That takes a lot. And,
Yeah. Right.
But even man, like I draw a lot of inspiration from guys like Jack Johnson and stuff, man.
Way back.
You know,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Galveston Giant. You know,
Right.
when all odds are against you, and you do something people are saying you can't do, and everyone's
Right.
putting you down, and you still become the champion of the world. That's
Right.
powerful. So I've always draw inspiration and power from that.
Wow,
Yeah.
That's great because like, that's a name that you would never think someone to say that because, especially at a different sport, you know what I mean? And like the times and all that, but you're like a little historian, kind of like the history of like combat sports, boxing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
it's pretty
He's,
cool.
I mean, you know boxing more than me, but he's
Right.
the first African American heavyweight champion of the
No,
world.
right,
And
yeah.
at the time he was heavyweight champion, you know,
Yeah.
African Americans weren't buying cars, driving
No,
cars.
right,
they,
yeah.
They were getting, you know,
No, right,
treated
exactly.
very, you know, bad.
Bad, right? Yeah. And that's a shame. You know what I mean? But
So to do it in the face of all those odds, that's
right,
inspirational.
that's even more inspirational.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Like now, like what do you do outside of like MMA? What do you do? You got a family? You're married?
Yeah, spend time with my wife and daughter.
That's great.
Run my foundation. Try to help local fighters in Louisiana. You know,
that's
show them the
excellent.
ropes a little bit. Teach them. Try to put them on the right path
Right.
from the lessons that I've learned. So many ups and downs, and definitely made the wrong decisions and times, and try not to do that again. And I just try to help
But
these
trial
guys.
and error you go by. pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of my toughest fights ever, probably not one of the toughest. Emmanuel Burton got Emmanuel Augustus, Lafayette. No, not Lafayette.
Baton Rouge. He's in Baton Rouge.
Yeah. Man, was he crazy? I mean, that kid. I'm telling you, he's probably the drunken master, obviously, but he was like incredible. How tough he was and the grit he had. You know what I mean? For like never training.
Yeah.
He'd come in and just boom, boom. boop.
Did things that shouldn't work, but it made him work.
Oh man, that just was him. And
Yeah,
I
it's
loved
fun to
that
watch.
guy. And it was tragic when he got shot and stuff. And he's recovering now. He's doing good.
Yeah.
And,
I saw he was back in the gym in Baton Rouge at
Yeah.
Beat to Sleep. Yeah.
oh, that's good.
LJ has a good gym there and a good support groups for him. So.
Right, he's a great guy. So what's next now? You got the big fight coming up. How do
Yeah,
you feel?
July 10th. We're 7
Yeah.
weeks out this coming Saturday. I'm feeling good. My weight's
Excellent. You look great.
Thank you, man. My weight's better than it normally is this far out.
Oh, good.
But I just knew the magnitude of this fight. So even when I was back home before I came here to training camp,
Yeah.
when I was in Louisiana, I started dieting early, started running early, I
Yeah,
started
yeah.
doing things because I knew that I wanted to make
You know
this
it's
smooth
gonna
as
be a
possible.
grind
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, that's the key. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
well, Dust, I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man.
All right, buddy. And great luck.
Hey,
Best of
thanks.
luck, buddy.
Live trained.